Hi, this is Roger Conrad. I'm editor of Canadian Edge. What I want to talk about today is a subject that's on a lot of people's minds, and I see that from your viewer email and so forth, and that is the 2011 taxation of trusts, which has been pending since Halloween 2006 and has been an issue for these things ever since. It's hung over them like a very dark cloud all this time. I think now we're actually nearing some sort of resolution on that. Of course, what people are worried about is what happens to the various income trusts. Do they just vanish off the planet, or is there some sort of transition period or some sort of new form that they might take? And I think what you really want to, first of all, get your hands around with this is that trusts are going to convert to corporations. I mean, barring some sort of miracle victory by the Liberal Party, and they take power and they actually fulfill their campaign promise to do away with the trust tax and so forth, you're going to have a tax on these trusts. And most of these trusts have elected to remain in their tax advantage format until the last possible moment, which would be January 1, 2011. But they're pretty much saying up and down the line they're going to convert to corporations. So what does that mean? Well, obviously for the investor, the most important part of that equation is the distribution, the dividend. Does that become, when they absorb this new tax, is that distribution going to be cut? How much is it going to be cut? Are they going to continue paying distributions? How well are they positioned for that? And the good news that we're seeing over and over is that trusts are making the decision they're going to remain big dividend payers. Some have actually put themselves in a position where they can maintain the current distribution. More and more of those, we've seen 18 conversions so far. 8 of the converters have actually maintained the same distributions as a corporation despite the additional taxes. So this is all good news. I think most importantly, though, is the fact that people have pretty much baked in the expectation that distributions across the board are going to be slashed pretty dramatically. And so that's what's been baked into the prices of these Canadian trusts really since Halloween 2006, or at least a week or two after that, when the market adjusts. I mean, the market prices in the future pretty far in advance, and in this case, no different than any other. The bad news was priced in. What hasn't been priced in has been the good news, and that is the fact that many of these trusts are actually going to beat expectations regards their future dividends. In other words, they're either going to maintain the dividends that they're paying now, increasing them later on, or they're going to cut the dividends a lot less than people expected they would when this tax was first announced in Halloween 2006. So what happens then? I think a 2001 windfall, I think we're going to see, or a 2011 windfall rather, I think we're going to see much higher prices for many of these things, and the more the dividend they maintain, that these trusts maintain, I think the bigger kick they're going to get. Already seen that to some extent. In fact, it might surprise some that of the converters to corporations, the 18 so far, they're actually up right now on the order of 25 to 30% from their pre-conversion prices. So in other words, they announced the conversion. In most cases, the prices came off a little bit, particularly if there were dividend cuts involved, but then the prices recovered. And this is in the context, again, of what's been probably one of the most difficult markets in the last 80 years. So I think a tremendous opportunity here. I think we have a lot of opportunity to beat expectations. And again, that's the key to making money in any market. And I think that's what these things offer. So, as 2011 approaches, we're going to see some scary headlines. We're going to see some nervousness. Some jittery nerves out there regards what's going to happen, but I think positive outcomes are what we're going to see, particularly in the stronger corporations, the stronger trusts, and that's of course where we've been focusing our efforts really since the foundation of Canadian Edge back in 2005. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. That's all I have to say. We're going to be exploring these themes in much more detail in articles, in studies that we'll be publishing in Canadian Edge over the next several months. And I think we can really look forward with a little bit of research, a little bit of planning to some very nice gains going forward. Thank you for tuning in.